Hello everybody, Miss Marks here. Now, for one of your maths tasks this week, you need to be able to recognise right angles, okay? Some of you might have heard of angles before, some of you might not have, okay? So an angle is where two lines meet, okay? So this line and this line have met in the corner here, okay? They've met in the corner here. This one, these two lines have met in this corner here, and these two lines have met in this corner here, okay? Now, an angle tells us how much turn is between those two lines. Okay, so think of a turn as going around the whole way in a circle, okay? Imagine you turning on a spot. Now, this line here and this line here, this angle will tell us how much turn there has been. Same for these two, okay? Same for these two lines. We've got an angle in between here which tells us how much these two lines have turned. But what I want us to look at this week is specifically right angles, okay? Now a right angle is a quarter of a turn, a quarter of a turn. So if you imagine our full turn here, okay, and you split it into quarters, into 4, then that is 1/4 of a turn, okay? So you can see here that this line has made 1/4 of a turn to there, okay? And we always show 1/4 of a turn or a right angle by drawing a little square in the middle, okay? In between those two lines. Now, your task this week is to be able to spot right angles, and you also need to be able to spot angles that are less than and greater than a right angle, okay? Remember, a right angle is the same as 1/4 of a turn, okay? And we show it using a little tiny square in the middle. Now, do you think this shape is this angle is greater than or less than 1/4 of a turn? Well, if you get your circle and you draw your quarters in there, you can see that this line here is less than 1/4 of a turn. Okay, so we could put here that this is less than. Okay, and then in this shape here, if you were to make it into quarters, if you were to make this circle into quarters, you can see that this angle is going on bigger than a right angle. It's greater than 1/4 of a turn, okay? So you need to make sure that you can recognise a right angle, which is 1/4 of a turn, something that is greater than, two lines that give angles that are greater than 1/4 of a turn, or a right angle, and less than, okay? Now, a little tip for you, okay? A little tip for you. Squares and rectangles have got 4 right angles, okay? In all of their corners, they have got right angles. There's 1/4 of a turn between each of the two lines, okay? So what you could do is, if you pick something up that is a square or a rectangle, so for example, my diary here, you could use that corner to check shapes or things around your house to make sure that they're definitely a right angle. Okay, so for example, if I picked up my Weetabix box and said, I wonder if I've got any right angles in here, I can check whether the corners are the same, okay? I can check whether that
angle of that corner is the same as my right angle diary, which I know that is. Now, this is going to be a tricky task. It's challenging for you all, but the main thing I want you to remember is that a right angle is a quarter of a whole turn, okay? So it's just a quarter of a whole turn. Use your little circles that are divided into 4 to help you spot ones that are greater than or less than. And then when you're looking around your house, use something that you know is definitely a right angle, so like a book, okay, or a piece of paper, and then you can use that to check different objects in your house for your second angles task. Good luck. Remember, you can always message me if you're a little bit stuck. Bye.